We'll start off today at the Flame Lurker Archstone. That's the last Archstone in Stonefang Tunnel. And we'll be taking on the Cathedral that we saw during the Flame Lurker fight, because that's where the final boss of the level is, the Dragon God. So the way this works is we can't continue on in the Bolitarian Palace until we've defeated at least one of the 4 Archdemons, the bosses at the end of each of the other worlds. Once we defeat at least one of them, we can continue on, and I probably will. This boss may have some similarities to a boss that a lot of Dark Souls fans, and really anybody who played Dark Souls all the way through, has some similarities to a boss that was not particularly popular. That is to say, it's basically what the Bed of Chaos fight was based on. The difference is, Bed of Chaos was bullshit. And this, while it isn't the most exciting thing in the world, is remarkably fair. So the way the Dragon God fight works is very much the same way that the Scarecrow segments of Batman Arkham Asylum work. You basically don't want to let the Dragon God see you. There are 2 checkpoints, well not checkpoints, but 2 targets that we have to reach. At each one, there is a ballista that will take almost half of the Dragon God's health off, and have a really neat animation. But to get there, we have to break all of this rubble without being seen. And that's why I've chosen the particular loadout that I've got. I'm not wearing the hat, because the hat makes it difficult to see where the Dragon God's head is pointing and whether or not it's safe to move. And I've got the large Sword of Moonlight, because normally this rubble takes a number of hits to destroy and you have to dodge in and out of cover. But if you have a great sword and two-handed, you can use its two-handed strong attack to clear any rubble in one shot. And with that, and just as soon as he looks away, we can get to the first ballista. There we go. Of course, I say the hat blocks my view. The sword is kind of big, too. Not as big as the hat, though. That cutscene is part of why I really like this fight. The Dragon God is so badass that its blood is lava. I mean, that's just... If you don't think that's cool, then I don't know. I don't think I can talk to you. Anyways, my prejudice against people who don't think lava blood is cool aside, we must continue on. Now that the Dragon God is wounded, his animations change. As you can see, he's kind of got that struggling thing going on. And the best time to move is when he's got his head straight up, crying out in pain, because he's looking at the ceiling, he can't see you. And... go. Of course, the best thing about that struggling in pain animation is that it's actually pretty long. He raises his head up a few times before going back to patrolling. So you can actually move past a couple of barriers instead of just one. Of course, the pillars here are making it hard to see anything. Maybe I could have safely worn the hat. Alright, moving on. And there should be just this one last piece of rubble, and we're basically home free. It's really not that difficult of a fight, if you have a greatsword. If you need to dodge in and out of cover, it could be a little difficult. And there's even a crystal lizard, too. Now, as far as I know, the Dragon God can't actually get you up here once you get to the ballista, so it's safe to go after the crystal lizard. I mean, that's just completely badass, right? I'm not wrong here, am I? I don't think so. Anyways, even those 2 gargantuan ballista shots weren't enough to take down the Dragon God. We have to actually go down there ourselves and finish him off, which means that there's still an opportunity to die. Even though his arms are pinned back and he can't punch us anymore, his breath is still white hot. So we want to take him out from afar if possible. The problem is, the only ledge that lets you get into melee attack is right in front of his mouth. So we're going to use ranged attacks. Of course, we have to remember how to get down there first. Rather, I do. Remember, each time he thrashes about, he opens a new path. So here is the path down to where he is that wasn't there a moment ago. Then there's a question of how close do you have to get to lock onto him. Yeah, so we don't want to stand in front of that hot breath. Like, that's not even fire breath, but it'll still kill you if you get there. And we're going to gently poke him in the horn on the front of his face. It's kind of a sad way for a Dragon God to go down, but get good, scrub. Alright, and that'll get us our first Archdemon soul. Or rather, it will once I finish getting the last item in the area. I always forget about this. But it's a lot of souls to pass up. And I'm particularly happy about this soul and the Pure Dragonstone, because the soul of the Dragon God is going to make the spell that's going to let me break the game in half.
I am on you. Well, what have we here? Do you wish to die so soon? Why you?
Sorry, friend, but the hat demands blood.